New this morning on your Fast Track to 7, police in Hawley investigating a stabbing involving a screwdriver. It happened around 7:30 last night on Reno Drive in a neighborhood a few blocks east of the school there.
Police Chief Joseph Backlund says he will not be releasing details because it's a domestic incident involving a juvenile. New information this morning on a Fargo apartment fire that sent one person to the hospital. Firefighters now confirm they pulled a woman from a first-floor unit.
They say she was trapped but was then rescued less than 15 minutes from the time that the fire was initially called in. That victim rushed to the Sanford ER. No word yet on her full condition.
As the crews arrived, they were assigned to different tasks. The second engine was assigned to do a primary search for the victim inside. They found the victim and were headed out of the building with the victim at 6:18.
Now that call came in just after 6 last night from the 3100 block of 32nd Street South. Firefighters say heavy damage is contained to a bedroom in the apartment unit. There's also smoke damage throughout the rest of that unit, plus soot staining throughout the entire building.
Other tenants were temporarily evacuated because of harmful fire gases during the fire. Damage is estimated at $75,000, but no word yet on the cause. At least one person is dead after a crash near Barnesville yesterday morning. The Minnesota State Patrol says a car left Highway 9 around 5:30 a.m. just south of town.
The car was driven by a 28-year-old man from Fergus Falls. His passenger, also 28, from Barnesville. The State Patrol says it will release details later on this morning. Police are looking into the cause of a rollover on I-29 south of Buxton last night. Crews were called around 7:30.
One Valley News Live viewer says they saw what looked like a rollover covering both lanes of southbound traffic. We're waiting to hear details, including information on any injuries. A Warren, Minnesota man who killed his ex-wife in front of their young children is being sentenced today. Anders Odegaard pleaded guilty last month to the beating death of Carissa Odegaard in August of 2022. Their 5 children witnessed the attack, and one ran out to a highway to get help.
One of the factors in the plea deal reached, they say, was to avoid trial where the children may have been called on to testify. The plea deal also calls for an 18-year prison sentence for Odegaard, but the judge can either accept or reject the entire agreement. Time now for a look at our storm team forecast on our Monday morning. We're warming up, but how warm will we get? We're sending things on over to meteorologist Lisa Green. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. We're looking at toasty temperatures yet again today for a lot of the valley, with some sunshine this morning to start, at least for those of us in the south, because that's where we still have the clear sky. You can see that a sunrise starting for us right now as we're looking off to the east-southeast in Fargo, and we'll officially have that sunrise at 7:56. So you may remember, if you're watching Friday morning, that was the first day we had a before 8 a.m. sunrise in Fargo for the first time this season, and now we'll just keep that rolling and keep seeing that sun up earlier and earlier. 7:56 officially our sunrise in Fargo today. We're at 33 degrees, so above freezing. There's still some frost out there though on roadways, bridge decks. Be careful, and maybe on your windshields as well. You might need some time to get that scraped off. Wind is out of the southwest at 7 miles per hour. In Grand Forks, more clouds have been moving into this area this morning. We're at 33 degrees. Winds are out of the west at 10. Still some good visibility, and sunrise at 8 a.m. for you. And speaking of clouds, we've got a wave moving through, and it's going to bring about some cloud cover briefly for the day. We'll see it sweep through pretty quickly, and you can also see that there's some precip with it too, at least detected on the radar. We might have some isolated, very light drizzle or freezing drizzle, depending on your temperature profile where you are. But you can see this from the Devil's Lake, Devil's Lake area all the way up toward Lake of the Woods as well. And this is going to sweep to the southeast here as we go through the morning, and the clouds will clear pretty quickly. So for places like Fargo, morning hours starting off with some sunshine, some clear skies. We'll see the clouds sweep through, and by the time the kids are heading home from the bus stop, the sun is back again, and we're looking at some 30s to start and some 40s yet again to end the day today. So we're just keeping this warmer weather rolling. It'll get a little breezy though. Wind turns northwesterly. We're gonna have some gusts into the 20s, even up to 30 miles per hour or so. So a little breezy here on this Monday. In the wake of that, we cool down slightly on Tuesday into some 30s coming up for Tuesday afternoon. But keep in mind, average high for today's day is 19 degrees. So even if we only get to 38 tomorrow, that's almost a 20-degree difference above average still. And we'll just warm warm right back up next or through the rest of the week. I think Wednesday could be our warmest day of the week. Almost everybody seeing the 40s, and we just kind of keep things rolling into the weekend, cooling down slightly next week, but still running way above average as we're making our way from January and into a new month, into February. And it's feeling more like end of March, maybe even early April with some of these temperatures that we're expecting this week.
Yeah, typically we are waiting months and months for weather like this.
Yeah, it's a very early thaw. Doesn't mean we're done with snow and winter yet, but
Yeah.
we're seeing this early season thaw right now, which could be good for working water through the system here. But overall, you know, it is interesting. It's wreaking havoc on winter weather plans for those who like to do outdoor sports and that sort of thing. I know we've got a lot of melting coming up this week.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa. Investigators are looking for the cause of a semi-fire in Clinton yesterday. It happened around 2 p.m. just north of town and shut down traffic for a time. No word on any injuries.
At least 3 U.S. troops are dead and more than 30 others wounded after a drone strike by Iranian-backed militia in Jordan. It happened yesterday at a remote base near the Iraq and Syria border. President Biden has come out saying the United States will respond to the deadly attack. And lawmakers are still finalizing a bipartisan immigration deal, but it's already drawing reaction from GOP presidential frontrunner Donald Trump, who has already come out against the bill, even though no details have officially been released.
President Biden says the bipartisan deal has been in the works for months and says that if it is signed, it would let him shut down the border and fix it quickly. This comes as House Republicans gear up to impeach Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas over what they say is his mishandling of the border. We have new details for you about the crash of an Air Force B-1 bomber in South Dakota earlier this month. The 28th Bomb Wing at Ellsworth Air Force in Rapid City has moved an undisclosed number of its bombers to a Texas base, so the unit can continue to train while the military investigates the crash.
The flights are the first since the January 4th crash. The 4-person crew were ejected, but the aircraft was destroyed and that runway was shut down for the investigation. Young hockey players are getting a new layer of protection next season. USA Hockey now mandating neck laceration protection for all players under the age of 18. This decision comes 3 months after Hibbing, Minnesota native Adam Johnson died when his neck was cut by a skate blade during a game on the ice in Europe.
This new rule goes into effect August 1st, which will give teams and companies time to make and distribute the neck guards. The International Ice Hockey Federation has also mandated neck guards for players at all levels at the tournaments it runs. Could this be coming to your city? Copper thieves in the Twin Cities are switching things up and are now targeting e-vehicle charging stations. Minneapolis's Public Works Department says there's not much copper inside those charging cables, but the repairs cost the city thousands of dollars and lots of time. The thefts also mean some drivers are having a tougher time finding a working charger. Many people are enjoying warm winter weather this season, but ecologists say it may be damaging trees. They say without snow cover, there's no insulation, and tree roots are not anywhere near as cold tolerant as the above ground part of the tree. If temperatures stay warm, trees could also mistake that for spring and leaf out too early. If a frost comes after that, it could hurt them because they're no longer dormant. One positive, though, they say warmer winter weather has also allowed more water to soak into the ground.
2 climate activists are now in custody after attacking the most famous painting in the world with canned soup. We have video here, surveillance footage showing 2 women throwing a red liquid at the Mona Lisa in the Louvre in Paris yesterday. Museum workers rushing to block the view of the activists and that painting. Officials say no damage was done, though. It's protected under armored glass. Valley News Live is partnering with local nonprofits to help them reach their goals as part of our VNL Cares project. Our very first matchup is with the Honor Flight of North Dakota and Minnesota. Tonight, we'll bring you the story of how much the flight meant to one man from Grafton just months before he passed away.
Up until maybe the last 48 hours of his life, talked about the Honor Flight. Like, people would come in the house and visit him, and he'd be like, "You know, I went on that Honor Flight."
Our donation link is now live. You can donate to help area veterans get to Washington, D.C. to see the monuments built in their honor. Simply click on the link on valleynewslive.com or on your free VNL News app. Indiana State Troopers are probably still talking about this one of the more unusual calls. A semi-truck carrying circus animals caught on fire over the weekend. In the footage there, police suddenly having to wrangle zebras and camels on the interstate highway.
The semi-driver got out of his cab safely, but was frantically trying to save 10 live animals trapped inside of the trailer. They all worked together to rescue 5 zebras, 4 camels, and a miniature horse. None of those were hurt. Police believe an equipment failure sparked the blaze. And the 2024 Super Bowl matchup is now set between the defending champs, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the San Francisco 49ers. But those hoping to see the big game in person at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas should prepare to shell out some serious dough.
Yeah, that's an understatement here. Tickets on StubHub last night ranging from $7,000 to $34,000 per seat, while tickets on Ticketmaster were advertised for as much as $55,000. Now, for those who can't get there, the Super Bowl will air live on February 11th on CBS. You can watch it locally on KXJB. And for those of us who are Lions fans and are still heartbroken and crying this morning, and when I say those of us, I mean me. I came in immediately and spilled to the girls, didn't I?
Yes.
I'm still not ready to talk about it. It still hurts.
Well, she scared us right away because she asked if we wanted to address the elephant in the room right away.
Yeah.
So it was a little scary, but
There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
And there still is. Tune into North Dakota Today. I'll continue the meltdown live on air. You guys won't miss a thing. It was a great season, but I'm not ready to talk about it.
no.
That's all right.
No.
Good thing we're
Hey,
getting
you
off
made
the
it
air.
this far.
Yeah, good thing we're getting off the air. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Take care, everybody. My name is Ashlyn Hill.